Like notes to the hourglass, these are the songs of our lives. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Songs of Our Lives. I'm Brad Rose. I'm an artist, a composer, a writer, the founder of Foxy, Digitalis, and somebody who thinks about sound far more than is healthy. Each week, I invite on a guest to talk about the music and the songs that have meant a lot to them and left their mark. Previous guests include Molly Abomsawin, Jake Blunt, Wendy Eisenberg, Sarah Hennies, Matsuna Roberts, Claire Rousset. God, the list goes on. This week, I am thrilled to have the one, the only, Darius Jones. Been a huge fan of Darius's for a long time, and his recent streak of albums in the last 3 years, 3 years, kind of unmatched. And the latest one is The Legend of Eboy, the Hypervigilant Eye, which comes out October 4th, I think. Yep, October 4th on Album Fidelity. It's such a personal record, you know. We talked about that a little bit in the interview, but I had like a really visceral reaction to it because it's interesting. It feels like somebody really like pouring their soul, like parts of their soul, let's say, that they don't reveal publicly often. And it's not an easy thing. But the other thing, and I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine the other day about Darius's work. And he was saying how he'd seen Darius live a number of times. And there's always something so purposeful to every like note he plays. And that comes through in spades on Legend of Eboy. Wonderful album. Darius is awesome. This episode is so much fun. We recorded it last month, I think. I can't even remember. It's been a minute. But well worth the wait. Hope you all enjoy it. My guest today is a musician, a composer, a saxophonist, an educator, a mental health advocate. It is Darius Jones. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
So you've got a new album coming out. Hopefully I pronounce this right. I'm going to pronounce it like it looks, but I might get it wrong. It is Legend of Eboy. Is that right?
Eboy.
Okay. The Hypervigilant Eye, which is out on October 4th. And this is kind of I think it's the 7th chapter of this ongoing sort of cycle. Is it the Manish epic? Is that right?
Yeah, it's a Manish boy. It's just a part of a universe, the thing that I've been creating. So there's 9 chapters essentially. Wow. And so, yeah.
So I'm curious, like, where does this one sort of fit into the sort of larger narrative arc of it?
So this is what will be a part of the last volume. So there's 2 volumes that have been completed, and this is the start of the last volume. So this is me almost to the completion. There will be only 2 more albums after this. Wow.
How does it feel to be like coming to the end of this, this huge project?
You know, it's funny you say that because it's like I thought about that and I was like, whoa, I started this in I don't know, when I was like around 30, I think I started it. And so I'm 46 now. So it's just like, I'll probably finish it when I'm 50. So it'll have spanned 20 years. Yeah. 2 decades.
That's wow. That's I'm 45. So like thinking back 15 years ago. Yeah. Gosh, that feels like a lifetime ago.
Exactly.
So this one, there's a lot of talk that focuses on Black mental health and healing from trauma. And I'm curious, like, how your sort of personal experiences and observations have like shaped the music and the compositions on the album and just sort of that, you know, the general theme of it.
For me, so the whole album was a therapy assignment. My
Oh wow.
therapist suggested I write something for myself,
Hmm.
and he was like, and I thought about it, and I was like, wow, this is kind of hard. And it
Yeah,
was hard. It was like hard to like,
that
and
sounds daunting.
yes, right. Exactly. It's just like, I was like, "Ugh." And so as I wrote the music, some of it I actually wrote, kind of before he kind of gave me this assignment. And I kind of wrote like, I think there's only like two pieces. And but I was thinking about my mental health when I wrote those pieces. So I was like, oh, I used that. I was like, oh, my mental health is kind of because of the pandemic. It was like right after the pandemic. And so I started working on some music to kind of help me through that. But when he gave it to me as an assignment, I felt this other burden to somehow deal with myself in some way.
Yeah.
And also I didn't want to like make he was kind of like, this is not like this is not you kind of like um kind of wallowing in the trauma. He was like, this is you kind of finding something to help you get to another place,
Mm-hmm.
in your journey, in your healing walk. And so, in many ways, the pieces aren't really dark for me. They're really light. They give me a sense of hope and a sense of like, man, okay, I've come a long way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I was here and now I'm here. And it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the thing that I really, when I listen to the record, it is almost like, my partner sometimes is playing the record in the house, and I find myself going like, wow, it's like actually helping me. It like
Yeah.
is like helps me kind of, ground me in the present, helps me to see who I really am. I played, I've done a lot of records at this point. So it's like I listened to myself playing on it, and I was like, I have never really let anyone see that side of me on a record before.
Wow. Yeah, that's really powerful. I mean, I like when I've listened to it a number of times since I got sent a copy, and there's like, if there's some part of it to me that it feels very like cathartic hearing it, and very like, I don't know, it really I've been like I said, I've been a fan of your records for a long time, but this one really kind of, I feel like it hit like on a different level. So like hearing what you're describing, it's like, okay, that makes sense. This is, like you said, it's like this other side of you that you don't let people see all the time.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. Like I remember playing a little bit of it for some students, and they were like, "Whoa, you never did this before." Like it's like I've never heard you do um like this, like document you doing. Like I do that in like class or something, you know what I'm saying, like
Sure.
demonstrate that. But like to really kind of let the more broader public see more of me, I think was kind of like, whoa. Like it was like in the studio, it was difficult. It was like
Right.
I was having a hard time. Um, like I got really sick after the first day. I was like, I woke up in the morning. I was like, like because I think my body was like letting go. It was like
Oh
really
man.
trying to let go of. I don't know. I think this character that is Darius. It's
Yeah.
like,
Man.
how sometimes we do that. We create this persona,
Oh,
and
I relate to that. So like in my gut. Yes.
yeah, and I think that's the thing that I needed, which my
Mm-hmm.
therapist constantly tells me, is like you needed this to help you get through, the things that you went through.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I've been thinking. I've been like doing my own work in recent years, and how it's like, I feel like that was like my body's way of protecting me in a way.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then learning that, like, okay, you're safe now. or whatever. It's like,
yeah.
how do you shed that kind of thing? And it's terrifying, but it's
it's like, it is, man. I think it's super terrifying. That's the thing. I was like, I didn't know. This is one of those records, like even putting my face on the cover of the record is like me this is the first time I've done that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's really like, all right, see, I'm here.
Right.
we outside now. We outside. It's like,
yeah, it is. I mean, that's and it's really, and in those moments when you do that, and it's like so terrifying. But then I imagine like when people hear it and respond like, "Oh my gosh, this is like, I haven't heard this side of you," or they respond in this really like positive and affirming way. It feels even better than, I think, than like, it always feels good when someone like hears your record. It's like, "Oh, this is great." But there's like a part of it that feels like, "Oh man, this is very affirming for me," like not just my music, but for as me, and
I hope. I mean,
it's not out there yet.
it's not out there yet, but it's coming, and people have heard the first single, and people have reached out and said that, they love it, but I couldn't think about what people think.
For
regards,
sure.
I really was like, all right, this is, because he was like, this is for you.
Yeah.
And the little, and I don't know this terminology, like the little you, this is for, so in therapy, it's like when you're kind of working on these things, it's like, this is for you and the little you. And it's like, and so you're really trying to speak to that. It's funny. There's a video coming out, I think, that's going to crush people's hearts. Like, it's like there's a video being made, and it's just like, I saw a little bit of it last night, and I was like, whoa. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Mentally prepare for that. I'm I don't know. The last few years, I feel like, things get to me in ways that they didn't before. And I think a lot of that is kind of going back to like letting go of things. And I mean, I find myself just wrecked, like in a, not a bad way, but just by things that 10 years ago, I don't think would have, left a mark. And now it's just like,
if I can say this, it's like, I think and I'm going to say this as, I don't know if you identify as male or whatever, but I think as men, like, we have a tendency to want to disguise these things. And it's just like, as a Black man, there's this whole other element of like, you must be strong. You must present as, not weak and da 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 da. And I think it's just like, it's not real. We're multifaceted. We're emotionally diverse. It's just like, and so I hope that my greatest hope is that people listen to the record, feel encouraged to be themselves, feel encouraged to, talk about therapy, talk about that, mental health, and kind of start looking at mental health as actually just like a human thing. It's not like this person's a weirdo and like something's,
no, I really relate to that. Like, I have an 11-year-old daughter, and as her dad, like, that's been a very big part of my journey as a parent, as I want her to see me showing emotion and to being like, I don't need to be, because I have a great relationship with my dad, but he was the like strong and silent type, or what, that whole stereotype. And it did me no favors as far as my own, like, being able to handle my own feelings and stuff until I really, and so I want her to have this example of, as like men are, like, have emotions, and they can show them in healthy ways, like not just bottle it up, outburst, bottle it up, which is, and I try to talk about it with people, it's like, to me, and that's one of the things that I love about this record is, and what you're talking about is that openness, because I think just talking about it and being like matter of fact about, like, like, go to therapy and I do this and I'm like, it's not weird. It's just part of being like surviving or being a person in 2024.
Yeah, man, it's so a part of just the human condition. That's the thing I'm trying to do, is like trying to get people to understand. It's just like, dude, like, yeah, there's gems everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's just like people struggle with their bodies and trying to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the same. Our mental health is a part of that. Like, no one who's operating at a high level of performance is not thinking about their mental health.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? The average citizen a lot of times isn't thinking about the mental health, even though it's actually affecting them daily. It's like literally affecting them. And so I really want to kind of stigmatize it. And by doing an album like that, like this, I hope it helps that. I hope it helps, like, just, you know, make a bunch of cats, you know, sit around and go, hey, have you heard the Darius Jones record? And like, and go like, dude, yeah, it's about, you know, therapy and Black therapy. And the thing is, in the Black community, we don't really, you know, when I was growing up, you know, therapy was not like a thing at all. It was like, you know, and so, you know, my parents, my, you know, in-laws and stuff, they definitely needed deep therapy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it was like, I think I would have been spared so many horrible things if, you know, if therapy was more a part of the community. It was like, oh yeah, Black people go to therapy. You know, it's like, but
just like going to the doctor, you know? I mean, yes. It's the same thing. It's,
you know, go to the dentist, you get your teeth clean, you do your thing, you know?
Yeah. And I didn't do that for a long time and I regretted it. So it's the same thing. I learned my lesson and now people need to learn this lesson. I think it's awesome. And, I love the record. So
I'm man, that makes me so happy that you're enjoying the record. It really does.
And I could probably sit and talk about this for a long time, then we'd be here for hours and hours, and I don't think either of us have that kind of time. So
no, we don't.
So I'm gonna move into the meat of the episode here.
Okay.
And as ever, I'm gonna start with the first question, which is gonna ask you, what is the first song that you remember?
The first song I remember is Atomic Dog by Bill Clinton.
Man, what a first early memory. I love this song. It's wild.
Yes, it is. It's funny. I was like re-listening to this. It's kind of like, because I was like, oh shit, Atomic Dog. Like, I've heard this song, but I was like, oh, over the years. And because immediately when I saw that question, I was like, the first song that came to mind was Atomic Dog, because my uncle played that song all the fucking time when I was growing up and staying at my grandparents. He just played that song. Like, I must have heard, you know.
Yeah, and as a kid, that bow wow wow, that part is just so memorable.
Yeah. But it's crazy. It's
so much more than that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I was a little ashamed. I was just like, yep, this is the first song I remember. It's just like, there's a lot being said here and expressed that a little kid should not have been exposed.
Yeah, as a little kid, you remember like the dog sounds and bass. I mean, it's like so funky though too.
Yeah, it's, you know what's cool about that song is like, I think I had never heard any sort of digital electronic-y sounds. And I think also it's just like the way that when you listen to like how all the stuff is mixed together, it's really kind of weird, but interesting and funky and like, you know, and I think, you know, for me, I think that's the shit. It's like how like just weird in a good, like abstract, almost teetering on avant-garde that it is, but it's like popular. It was like popular music. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of, I'm a huge George Clinton fan. Like, I think like Funkadelic is like, I don't know, maybe the greatest band to ever walk the face of the earth. But like, I think George Clinton, like, they're really good at that thing of like taking all this weird, almost avant-garde stuff, but channeling it into something that a lot of people seem to get into. Like, I don't know. It's and this is like such an example of that, but I think that's like such an incredible skill.
Yeah, I really love. I mean, that whole. I felt like George was like another thing that I love about that music. It's like so black in this way that I think help people see like the sort of like the vastness of blackness. Like, you know, for me, I just was like, as a kid listening to that, you know, what I was hearing around me was like, yeah, gospel music, the blues, you know what I'm saying? Like these R&B, hip hop, but it was like somehow that music fit inside of all that music, but in its own unique way.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what was so exciting to me about it. Like I found myself just being like, wow, this is really beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's What an early memory. And the rest is history, right? Well, we've been talking about, you know, like showing emotion and stuff. So what's a song that if you hear it, it'll make you cry, or if it doesn't make you actually cry, it makes you feel get in that space?
This tune by Patti LaBelle. If you, what is this song? Hold on a second. If You Only Knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. By Patti. Like that song is a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
If you like, I literally cry.
Yeah.
When I listen to that song, even just think about it right now.
Right.
It makes me super emotional. Yeah.
It's she sounds so, I mean, she always sounds good, but she sounds so good on this song. It's like she feels this song.
Yes. Like that sound, like her sound is something that I think Patti LaBelle is like vocally like a titan. It's just like, and how she kind of like nuances her voice in this piece, and gets this sort of like unique sort of timbre from her voice. It's almost like it's like bringing out the emotion in this very sort of like intense like way. Like she's these words and she's just like, and the message of the song is so just like, oh my God,
knife through the heart.
Yeah, it's just like, if you're the person that you're like, she's saying this to, it's just, you're just like, whoa, I didn't know.
I know. What have I done?
Yeah.
It's a great song. Well, on the flip side, what's the song that it'll put you in a better mood?
Okay, this is always this. I don't care when this happens, when it comes on. Rock With You by Michael Jackson. It doesn't matter where I'm at.
Yeah.
It looked like whenever that song comes on, I'm literally moving. It's just like it hits me so hard.
Yeah, it's like as soon as the beat and the bass line kick in, it's like, all right, we are here we go. And then it's just, I feel like this song is just like, it's like pure joy or something.
Yeah. It's funny. Michael had like, I don't know what it was that he was able to kind of like tap into something that was just almost like this is gonna sound maybe problematic, but it's like childlike in a way that it's just like, just kind of brings that out in you. Like where it's just like that sort of, it like literally every time I hear this song, I feel like young and kind of like, oh yeah, just move my body, and just that sort of like zesty kind of like excitement. Like it's just like, oh yeah, like anything's possible.
Yeah, no, that's a really good description. Like, and yeah, like a lot of his music does have that quality to it where you feel this childlike sort of sense of freedom or something.
Yeah.
I'd never really thought of it that way, but that's
It's like almost naive.
Yeah.
It's just like the weight of the world is just like not a thing. It's just like, and also just from a song standpoint, this shit is killing. Sorry, I don't know if
you absolutely can. Yeah, no, it is. It like every, and I mean, this, and clearly it's like this is all these had huge budgets and all, but it's so well produced in the sense of like when the like little string bits just come in and out, and it's just like woo, and it just adds though to that sense of what you were saying, like that naive, like sort of naivety or whatever, but in a damn, you kind of just blew my mind there a little bit, Darius. I'm like,
no, because it's like when I'm gearing up. I'm starting a new job at Wesleyan, so I'm thinking about music in this sort of like larger, and I realize music doesn't. This is going to sound strange, but it's like I'm not sure this still exists. This sort of like that sort of like super naive, sort of like joyous thing. I'm not sure I hear music like that anymore. Like that, Michael really tapped into something. Yeah. It's
something I've been thinking about a lot of, I mean, I come from like a very quote unquote experimental music background. And I've had this conversation with people where like a lot of people talk about like, oh, like, the emotion of this music, but they're always talking about like, it's like melancholy or it's like heavy. It's like, but like joy is just as much of an extreme emotion. Like I want the joyous, weird, experimental, like,
man. It's just like sometimes you want to just be like, man, I just want to rock out. Like I just want to like dance and like, let my heart rate just like go through the roof because I'm just so happy, so joyous. Yeah.
I mean, the world is very dark. Let's like just have some fucking fun.
Yeah, man. Like exactly. It's like, and that, rock. Yeah, that's the
rock with you is having some fun and getting down and all of those things. Yeah. Well, everybody's favorite question, and that is, what is objectively the greatest song of all time?
Okay, this was the hardest question you asked me. I literally had to skip it and moved because I was like, dude, what is this? Like, I went from the angle of the alien, what I would give to an alien. And, if the alien arrived here, I would give them Earth by Joe Henderson and Alice Coltrane.
Get no argument from me. This song is like climbing a mountain or something. Like this is.
I think it gives you, I think it's the most, it's just like Joe sounds redonkulous on this, like, oh my God. And I think it's like Reggie Workman on bass, like playing that funky bass line and just the groove on it. And Alice creating those drones. And it's just like, what is this? And I feel like I could just see like, me holding this in the palm of my hand and like giving it to the alien and the alien going like,
yeah, like I was thinking about it. I love this as the answer to this question in that context too, because there's so many different like sound worlds going on here, and the way they combine them, like it feels like it encompasses the whole planet. Like,
exactly. That's what I felt too. There was that bit where it's like they're speaking poetry or something in there, and it's just like I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of like. This is like giving that energy where it's like almost like ACM, Art Ensemble Chicago vibes. Like it's like man, it's so you have the tabla, it's happening. Yeah. And also I should say the blues, and I think that's such a beautiful human thing that has been created. So yeah,
and it's called Earth. So there you go. I mean, it just exactly.
I was like, perfect. This right here. Yeah.
Okay, well, what's a song you used to love, but now, like, if you hear it or you think about it, you don't really connect with it. It doesn't really do it for you anymore.
Okay, this is funny because this is a song that really I'm going back to when I was a kid. I must have played the living daylights out of this song, like rewind, like everything. If I Ever Fall in Love Again by Shy, which was this, one of the many 90s, boy groups, R&B groups and stuff, and a cappella groups. And I remember just being so enamored with this sound, just like do la da do da do. It's like them doing that, and then the thing melody coming on top and how it weaved, and I remember hearing it and kind of and I remember the day when I put it on, and it really just, I was like, man, yeah, this doesn't slap in the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't think I don't remember ever hearing this until I was prepping for this. And I don't know, like it didn't, like, it's good. Like, there was parts I liked about it, but it made me think of other stuff from that era that I would rather hear.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. It just like, it was like, I think it was like a good 3 months. And it was like after that. And it's just like, I remember not listening to it ever again after that. Like, it was just like, I was like, man, I don't know what it was that was happening in my life, but I was like, man, this was like the thing in heavy rotation. And then it was just like, nope.
Yep. The end. Yeah. Well, what's the song that people don't like or people hate it? I don't know who these people are or whatever. But you don't care because you love it no matter what.
Well, this was another hard one. And so I based it on she's a lovely person, my ex-wife. Every time I put this song on, she was just like, oh my God, like literally out loud. And it was Tune Up by Andy Bay. This is a dope song. Come on. This is a dope song.
So this is another one. I don't think I'd ever heard this before. And man, I love this thing. This fucking rules.
Yes. That has converted someone else.
I listened to it like 10 times in a row or something, and I gotta listen to the whole record now.
Oh man, the whole record is banging, man. It's just like, I had who turned me on to this record is this vocalist. I can't remember her name right now, from Dirty Projectors. And we were kind of all we were hanging out, and she was like, have you ever heard this Andy Bay record? I had heard Andy Bay, but I was like, and she hit me with this, and I was like, yo, whoa. And Tune Up just became my whole thing. Like, just the way he's kind of like bending the notes and stuff like that, and kind of, like pushing his voice really far, and just the opening thing when it first starts, man, it's just like, what?
Well, yeah. There's something like totally absurd about it in the best possible way. It's like, this doesn't make any sense. And and I was telling this to somebody recently. I was like, I love when I hear music and I'm just confused. Like, I'm just like, what the hell is that? Like, that excites me. That gets me going. And
I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. I love shit that is just like, what? What are we doing?
Is that a harpsichord? Wait a minute.
It's like, you put this with this. This is happening. Like, and it works. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. I can definitely see people to like, I'm going to have to play this. I'm curious, like, what my partner will think of it. Like, she likes a lot of weird stuff, like, but there's certain things I'll put on and she'll just be, I get looks. And so I'm wondering where this will fall. Like I've learned, like, I can't listen to the song because I've answered these questions. It was only fair. And there's this German disco group from the 70s called Boney M, and they had this song called Rasputin. And I love this song, but everybody in my house hates this song. And it's one of those things where it's totally absurd. It's like this German disco thing, and they're singing about Rasputin as being this like sexy lover man. Like, and it slaps. I'm sorry, but so anyway,
you got to put them. So maybe you should put them back to back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because they'll be like, oh well, I don't like that, but this. Wait a minute, yeah. But this rules. This is the best part about doing this show is I get turned on to stuff I might not have ever heard, and I am like this, and I know I'm already obsessed with this song, but I feel like the whole album's gonna become a thing.
Yeah, there's the first track I think is Celestial Blues. There's another version of it that my partner hit me to by Gary Bartz and Andy Bay, and basically it's like a more sped up version of it. And I think you should, that's unique as well.
Awesome. All right, I got listening to do this afternoon. All right. Well, what is the most romantic song?
Okay, I think I knocked this one out the park. I think I really knocked this out. Loud as the Wind by Nina Simone.
Yeah.
I mean, man, whenever I see this song, I see just like whenever I hear the song, I see like love flying through the air. It's just like I don't know what it is. It's just like I feel like I could fly with the person I love. Like it's just like and be just like the wind is taking us away. We're just like, oh God, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it captures that feeling of like when love feels like all encompassing and like epic and overwhelming.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then and like Nina's voice. I mean,
God.
But on here,
oh man, and the piano, the way the piano's, it's just like it's just like this sort of. It sounds like she's like creating wind with the piano and stuff. It's just unreal, like. And she sounds so like this love that she's speaking about in this piece sounds just unbelievable. It sounds like just like, whoa, where is this? Like, where does this kind of love exist? So, yeah.
You knocked this out of the park. Yes.
I think so. I think it's like, I mean, come for me. It's like
I had a friend who loves this song, and I always go. Her and I have had conversations. Like, I always go back to the like. I hear the sound of mandolins.
Yeah,
I think what a like that line for some reason is the one that sticks with me. Like
think about it. I thought about that, and I was like, man, imagine meeting someone. And you fall in love, and you hear the sound of mandolins. It's just like who wouldn't want that? It's just like
that's what. Yeah, I know. And there's something about like it being mandolins and not like violins or not. There's something about like I don't know that just there's a specificity to that is just like that really captures something. Oh, but yeah. I think this is like if there is a right answer to this question, I think this is okay. Well, what's the song that changed your perspective on an artist, either for better or for worse?
Figaro by Mad Villainy.
Oh man.
It's kind of emotional for me because, I think I had heard like an MF Doom, them separately, like Madlib and MF Doom. And I was like, yeah, but man, this shit fucked me up, man. It just like, and it made me believe in MF Doom. Like it's just like the way he's flowing over this, like the nonsensical, sensical lyricism here.
Mhm.
It just made me realize this dude's a master, like a master of like, the interacting with inside of time and space, and the dope ass beat, like sound collage thing that happens on this is fucking weird and beautiful and amazing. Yeah.
It's so, yeah. It's one of the, I remember hearing this record, like this record is one of the all-time greats, but like you hear it, it's like, these are two artists like meant for each other.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There is some, I don't know, there's just like some otherworldly thing happens between those two, like Madlib and Doom, when they work together. That, because like I mean, like I'm a big fan of a lot of Madlib stuff, but it's not the same, except for when he's with Doom. It was always something extra or something. I don't know.
Yeah, man. They found, like, I think, ethos was the thing that kind of like, supposedly they weren't like, he was upstairs, he was downstairs, he would make a beat, he would give it to Doom, like Mad would give it, the beat to Doom, and then Doom would, write to it and do his thing. Like, they didn't really like, they weren't like up there, like eating,
right.
jelly beans and stuff together, like in a deep way. Like, they were kind of still themselves, you know what I'm saying? Like, really in their processes, but in kind of the same proximity. And I think the thing that they both embody is this sort of idea of just like truly being an artist. Yeah. Like, but not with that pretense of that, like more like, this is just what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I live this, whatever this is. And when you put those two things together, man, it's like that's what we heard. That's what Madability is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Truly special.
Great. Yeah, for sure. Do you pay attention to lyrics a lot? Like, are lyrics a big thing to you?
I do pay attention to lyrics. Like, it's funny. It's like they affect me in a different way. I think lyrics, have, if it's the right thing, if you like if it's like the right sequence and it's just like, boom, it just like slaps me upside the head, or it's like weaved in the right way. I remember reading like I like to read a lot. And so like, it's kind of the same thing. It's like when I'm like, I remember reading Another Country by Baldwin, and just the way that kind of unfold, like the way his syntax was working and just like the whole thing, it was almost like it was almost like when I'm listening to music. And so when I'm listening to cats deal with lyrics, this is another reason why I love MF Doom, is because of how he's playing with the lyrical aspect of things. Like, you don't know where he's going to land. Like, it's just like you're trying to follow this thing and you're like, whoa.
Right.
That's where he went. Like, it's like, and so that's something it's funny you asked me that, because that's what I love about him. It's just like, I'm like, what? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's the same thing of like music that confuses me, like lyrics, like it's where I have no idea where it's going. Like, that's exciting. And that is, well, with all that said, what are your favorite lyrics?
Oh, my favorite lyrics. Oh God, this is man. Wasted Time by Meshell Ndegeocello. These are brutal.
Yeah.
This is it's like, and I remember, this is what I'm talking about, this idea of lyric, like kind of saying words and how those words work. I remember when I first heard this song, I was like in my early 20s, maybe even like 19 or something. I don't know. Or 20. Yeah, I was, not very old. And they bust me up, man.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, like how do you deal with someone saying the things that, wasted time on loving you, wasted time on wanting to love you. It's like as much as, and just like and how she lingers on I. It's, it's just like, why did she choose I instead of me? And like, it's just,
Yeah.
oh God, like Meshell, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you picked it. Like, I love Meshell. Like, she's incredible. But I think sometimes like her built like her lyrics is because she's such a good lyricist. I think it gets overshadowed in a way because she's such an amazing bassist and composer. Like, of course, duh. But I love that you picked it because she is so like, I mean, she's just so good at everything.
Like, no, she really knows how. I saw her do a cover of Atomic Dog.
Oh wow!
And, yeah, and the way they did that piece, it made you really get into the lyrics more. Like it's like because it's just like you didn't have all the other things, so it's just like it was like. I was like, oh shit, this is happening. Like, and so like when she does this kind of thing, it like wastes this particular piece. And I don't know, man, it really, really affected me. Like like even I went back and listened to this because I was like trying to make sure. And I was like, I was like, man, these are pretty brutal lyrics. Like, it's like whoever she's talking to, like, my God.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I can't even like the thought of being on the other end of this song.
Yeah.
Like, I just go walk out of the ocean and never heard from again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great song.
Yeah.
What's a cover song that's better than the original?
Summertime by Albert Ayler.
Oh man. Yeah. His version of this is so, like, it's like he pulled back like the gloss of this song. And it's like, here's the guts, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. He killed this, man. I mean, I love the way he played this song. Like everybody should know this version of Summertime. It's just amazing, period. Stop.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, to me, this is how it should be played. And if I ever cover it, I will definitely try to top this because it's just like or like try to meet it at some point in some level, because it's like, Jesus, like, it's just the way and I think the thing that I'm fascinated by this is like, it still feels extremely lyrical. Like a lot of times when we think about Albert, we don't think about lyricism, but it's just like, if you're listening to this, it's just like, it's still in the way that he's playing this piece has a lyricism to it, a uniqueness of lyricism to it that it just completely takes me out and fascinates me, man. It's like, I love it. All the colors, the way he's dealing with the he's like, he'll be like, like really loud. And then it's like really soft. And it's just, yeah.
That's, those moments where that like dichotomy of this, like, the high to the, it's like this restraint. It's like super intense, but there's also all this restraint. Like at the same, like he bounces between them, and I don't know. There's something too about it. I feel like if I listen to it, I'm just like, how do you do that?
It's like, it makes you realize he was really virtuosic. Like he was a virtuosic player. Like it's like, in many ways, as a saxophonist, it's like, I really want to be this way, you know what I'm saying? To have this sort of level of control over my concept of playing. And I really feel like this is a great demonstration of this, like by him. Extreme.
Yeah. What's the last song you completely fell in love with?
The last song, oh shit. Okay. 100-Year-Old Game by Henry Threadgill. I don't know if many people are familiar with this record or this piece, but recently I got the opportunity to play with this the band Make a Move, which is this project. And Where's the Cup is the album. And I remember, I'm a huge Threadgill fan. I love Threadgill. I think he's, our Mozart or something of our time.
Yeah.
And I feel like when they asked me to do this, they were like, oh yeah, Make a Move. And I was like, yeah, I'm familiar with Make a Move, that album, Make a Move. Like, it's like, they're like, no. The band Make a Move and Henry Threadgill and Make a Move. And the album is Where's the Cup? And I was like, you know what? Man, I don't know if I heard this record. So I put it on and I go, what the fuck? Oh my God. Like from just like bang, it's just like, what is this? And the way Threadgill is playing the sound of this group, like accordion, Stomo with the bass shit, like, JT Lewis, like Brandon Ross, like Threadgill, it's just like, yo, like, and man, in this piece and way it works and shit, I was like, yo, man, this is so happening. And I have a really cool story. So we did his celebration at Big Air's, and there was a dinner for him, and they put on this version of it because, like, at one point they were doing these shows at the Knitting Factory or something like that, or I don't know, but they put on this live version of this piece.
Oh wow,
dude! Of this 100-Year-Old Game. And Threadgill, I'll never forget this. Like, it is so, he's just dancing to it. Like as everyone's listening, he's like, dancing. And he's like, Darius, you here? I was like, yeah. I was like, and the band is grooving so motherfucking hard, man. It is. I hope they release that version of it because it is ridiculous how good it is. It's like if Threadgill takes this fucking nasty, beautiful, amazing solo, and I'm just like, damn, man. Fuck. I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of work to do, man. Yeah.
That's kill. Oh man, what an experience though, to like get to hear that with him there and all that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's killer. Yeah, no, this is hell of I hope they release that too, because I love this piece and I want to hear like the live pedal to the floor version.
dude, you're gonna like, yo, buckle up. If they release it, it's just like you're gonna be like motherfuckers are gonna be messed up, man. I'm serious. It's like it's that good.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we got 2 questions left.
Okay.
What is the song that means the most to you?
Okay. I Got It Bad and That Ain't Good by Duke Ellington and his orchestra. Live at Newport, the original version, the original album. When I was a kid, I had a list of saxophone players that I really liked. And I think it was like, who was at the top? I think it was like Cannonball. It was like a bunch of folks. Like, I think, Grover Washington's Gene was on there. Like, all, I was making my little list. I went to the library, got this record. And I was listening to the thing. And then it got to this song. And I heard Johnny Hodges for the very first time. And I remember going to my little list And I was confused. I was like, he's the best. I was like, where does he fit in this? And I was like, oh no, he's the best. Johnny Hodges, man, for me he's just amazing. Like it never gets old. Um, what's cool is so there's more of this recording, and there's a version where he's cracking those notes. He's like messing up, and it still sounds killer. It still is a vibe. It's Johnny Hodges is the baddest motherfucking saxophone player, man. And it changed my life. Like his playing, what he did, it has affected. I tell people all the time, it's like, Johnny Hodges is probably the most major influence on my saxophone playing. It's like but a lot of people go like, I don't hear it. It's like, I was like, you don't listen to Johnny Hodges. You don't really listen to him. Like, it's like, if you did, you would get what's happening here. His choices, how he chose to play a melody, a lot of stuff over the bar, like how he's soloed. It sounded very improvisational, and gimmicky in some ways, but also just like unique. It's like, man, this fucking song, man. Whoo! And Johnny, man. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be talking here today if it wasn't for Johnny Hodges.
It's true. Probably. It's true.
That fucking rules. All right, Darius, what is your favorite song?
Sit It On by D'Angelo, man.
One of my favorite records ever made.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to say about it other than it's fucking amazing. Like, D'Angelo, man. I fucking love D'Angelo so much.
Yeah.
In this song. That whole record, it's a perfect record. God.
It is. This song, every time I hear it, man, I'm just like, yeah, this is my shit. Like, I can play this all day long. I probably will play it after as I'm getting my breath. It's just like, it just gives you, this song actually really reminds me of my home. It the good things that took place. It really did. Like, cats singing harmonies and stuff like that. I remember hearing a lot of that when I was growing up. There's, girl groups, men groups just singing, harmonizing and stuff like that. And just these kind of grooves that only could come out of just lived experience. And this piece kind of encapsulated a lot of things that I just love, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I love how D'Angelo, he like pops up every 10, 15 years out of nowhere, drops an album that blows everybody's mind. I feel like we got to be getting due for one, right?
It's funny, man. D'Angelo reminds me. It's funny. He's from Virginia, the same state I'm from, and he so reminds me of Virginia cats. Like it's just like there is something about him that's just so. It's almost just like country. Like he's just a country boy still. Like he. And I think the music that we're going to see from him later in life, I hope the music we see from him later in life is like just honest, true, like, like I feel like in many ways him trying to be D'Angelo, this, sensation, this thing is almost silly. It's like, I hope we get a kind of more intimate sort of just like him working with some cats and just like, and they went into the studio and kind of made some stuff, album at some point. Just like,
me too.
Yeah.
That's it's a great place to end it. This was an absolute blast. Thank you for doing this. And we got through the technical issues at the beginning.
Yeah.
So the record is out on October 4th. You got shows or anything coming up?
I mean, I'm shows with my previous record, but we do have a show in Guelph, Canada. So we're gonna play trio at the Guelph Jazz Festival up in Canada. That's on the 14th. The trio plays up there, and then hopefully the trio will play again. But it's just in the meantime, just check out the record. The record is I think this record is the shit. Like I think it's amazing.
I agree. Full people need to check it out. It's
for sure.
Awesome. Once again, thank you to Darius Jones for taking the time and talking to me and, hey, just having a good time with it. Legend of Eboy, The Hypervigilant Eye is out on October 4th. Highly, highly recommend it. He's really become one of my favorite saxophone players and composers around, and just there's so much to love about this record. As ever, you can listen to his picks at the link in the show notes. If you enjoy the show, please leave a rating or review or both, something like that, wherever you listen to podcasts. Or if you want to support the work even more, you can join the Patreon, patreon.com/Foxy Digitalis. Little as $3 a month, you get the full unabridged episodes, and you get them a week early, and there's other stuff, and it's just, that ongoing support means so much. So everybody who's signed up, thank you so much. That's about it. Can't think of anything else. So until next time, keep on listening to whatever the hell you want.